Did you know that over 50% of Australians live paycheck to paycheck? And if you live in America, over 66% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Yet at the same time, millions of people have built substantial wealth whilst earning modest salaries. The truth is, building wealth isn't just about how much money you make, it's about how you use whatever money you have to build up that wealth. And if you don't believe me, then keep listening because my step-by-step guide will change everything. Heck, I will tell you how using this guide has completely changed my life. The first step to building wealth, it isn't about money. It's actually about mindset. Now, we're not talking about pseudoscience or those weird mantras that you hear from productivity gurus on YouTube. I'm talking about objectively looking at your own mindset when it comes to money and looking at how others view the idea of money. So, for example, have you ever wondered why two people with the exact same income can have completely different financial lives? Like one may struggle with debt and the other accumulates wealth almost out of nowhere. Now, the difference between these two people is mindsets and habits. So the poor mindset, they believe that they will never be rich. Money is evil. Only lucky people get wealthy. The wealth mindset understands that money is a tool that can be used to provide benefit to them and those around them. Now, you can have your own ideological belief in terms of what you believe money is and perhaps should be. That's perfectly okay. But the wealth mindset is that of pragmatism, not of pure idealism. If you want to build wealth, you need to be pragmatic. Once you have your wealth, then you can do whatever you want with your money. But the first step is building that wealth. It's making money with the right mindset. So first, start thinking long term. Instead of focusing on quick money, think about how your money can work for you in the future. This is where the idea of investing really comes into play, and we're going to talk about that later on. Secondly, you need to surround yourself with the right tools so you can develop the habit of financial self-education. Now, this includes what you read and what you watch. I recommend you start off reading books such as The Millionaire Next Door, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or The Barefoot Investor. Look for people who have qualification and education. Don't surround yourself by influencers. And for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Raphael. I'm a commercial lawyer and a corporate advisor. And not only have I advised companies who have market caps over $1 trillion, my passion is teaching financial literacy, particularly for those who come from disadvantaged backgrounds, people who are struggling, and people who want to become something. So please subscribe because I want to share my knowledge with all of you. Now, thirdly, speaking of people, surround yourself by those who are motivated by the big picture. Again, we're not talking small things. We're talking about the big picture, what is really lying at the end of the tunnel. So people who constantly text you and call you about purchasing a new Rolex or an expensive car or an expensive bag, ignore these people, because we're talking about people who are wanting to invest now so they can get a reward in the future. Call it delayed gratification. We're talking about those who are wanting to purchase a house, those who are wanting to purchase equity in a company, those who are looking at business opportunities. I want you to remember this. Winners bring people up, losers bring people down. Now, you do not need a six-figure salary to accumulate wealth. You just need to control where your money goes. Now, the biggest mistake that I see is people spend first and they save what is left over. The wealthy actually do the opposite. They save first and then they spend later. So my tip to you is use the 50-30-20 rule. You need to use 50% of your income for necessities such as rent, food, utilities. Use 30% of your income for wants such as entertainment, shopping, going on a holiday, and then 20% of your income needs to be put towards savings and investing. Now, if your income is tight, you can change the percentages. Perhaps your needs take up 80% of your salary. If that's the case, then split the remaining 20% between wants and savings, and then gradually increase your saving percentage as you earn more. Now, I can give you two practical tips to do this. First, automate your savings. Set up an automatic transfer of your savings account to your savings account every payday. Now, this is what I do. In fact, I remember the days when I used to count down to payday, and I'll see all this money come into my bank account, and I'll be so ecstatic. And immediately when I see it, I'm like, oh, I have all this money. I can buy so many things. But this is a bad thing, because in that high of having money be deposited into your bank account, You forget that you have bills to pay, that you need to save up for things. And guess what happens when you recklessly spend all that money thinking you have money? They go into debt. So automate your savings. And then after you've allocated the expenses using the 50-30-20 rule, then go into your bank account and bask in your glory. Second, track every dollar. You need to know where your money is going so you can cut out unnecessary expenses. And I've actually made this very, very easy for you because I've created the Raphael 2025 Cash Flow Super Sheet. And this is a completely free budgeting tool that is live on my website right now. You can use this to track all your expenses, see where everything's going. The link is in the description box, so check it out. Now, if you come this far into the video, you're probably like, Raph, mate, I've already saved as much money as I can. Well, this is good because now we can focus on the other side of the equation, which is making money. Now, most millionaires, they have multiple streams of income. So this is how you can start increasing your earnings today. First, negotiate your salary. So studies show that those who negotiate their salaries earn up to $1 million more over the course of their lifetime. Now, this seems very obvious, but the fact of the matter is this is something that a lot of people come up to me feeling very shy about, very anxious about, because they're scared to negotiate their salary. But if you master this, you will win. And if you want to know how I do it, let me know in the comment section below and I can make a video on it. Secondly, start a side hustle. Now, there are a lot of side hustles that are on the internet nowadays. You can Google side hustle. That's probably a trending term in Google right now. But the fact of the matter is you can do a lot whilst also doing your main 9-to-5 job. For example, you can do Uber Eats. You can do remote jobs, Fiverr, Nightfill. Honestly, there's a lot you can do if you choose to do it. And finally, invest in skills that pay more and monetize the skills that you already have. So this really, really goes hand in hand. So for example, maybe you're a high school chemistry teacher. So why don't you tutor students privately on the side? Maybe you can set up an online class via Zoom, and maybe you can take advantage of different time zones. So if you're in the US, you can run different classes in the East and the West. Or maybe you're a carpenter. Maybe you design and build your own customized furniture. Well, guess what? Market it and then sell it as something that is bespoke. Wealthy people, rich people, they love anything that is bespoke. So you will make some really good money. And with all of this, start to think outside of the box. After you've increased your income streams, you can then funnel that extra money into an investment strategy. Now, up to this point, you have used labor to make money. To build wealth, you need to use money to make money. And the basis of this relates to the idea of compound interest. So in the very beginning, you want to safeguard your money by putting your money into a savings account with a bank. Now that bank is going to pay you interest for storing your money with them. But that's not a one-off interest payment. So instead of earning interest on your initial deposit, you earn interest on both your principal, i.e. your initial deposit, as well as all the interest that you've gained up to that point. So the longer you leave your money in that account, the faster it multiplies. Now, after this, you can then look at other investment opportunities. You can buy equity in companies via share purchases. You can invest in the mutual fund. You can also buy government bonds. You can also take advantage of tax minimization. So you could pay extra into your superannuation or your 401k. Now, finally, you need to look at your relationship with debt. Now, debt can be a wealth maker. It can also be a wealth killer. And for most people, it is a killer. And I'm going to be blunt with you. If you're watching this video right now, you don't need to get into debt. You just don't need it. Once you've settled into a good financial plan, maybe then you can explore the benefits of, say, a credit card. But for now, just completely ignore it. But you can look at good debt. So these are things such as investing in your education, getting a reasonable mortgage for a house, things that will allow you to make multiple returns. Now, alongside debt management, you also need to build an emergency fund. This is called financial protection. Now, there's a lot of ways to build and store emergency funds. On one hand, in the olden days, people would actually store cash underneath their beds. And on the other end of the spectrum, there are multimillionaires and multi-billionaires who have offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands or Swiss bank accounts. Now, for most of us, for all of us practically, the safest way is to have it stored in a high interest savings account with a reputable bank. And there's multiple reasons for that. So, I mean, for example, it's very easy to access your money, especially during an emergency. And yes, there is a thing called a bank run. But for most first world countries, the government's tend to bail out banks at the first sign of trouble, i.e. the GFC. Um, and unless we're talking about World War III or the apocalypse, you should be able to get your money from the account. In fact, in Australia, the government guarantees bank deposits to the sum of $250,000. So your money is safe. And also, unlike storing your money underneath your bed, there's no risk of someone breaking into your house and stealing your money or being destroyed by a fire. But the biggest reason, and going back to my point at the very beginning, is compound interest. So again, you are not only storing your money, you are making money with your money. Now, apart from a high interest savings account, there are other safe investments and safe emergency funds, such as government bonds, which are literal loans that you give to the government, and the government will pay you interest for that loan. And if you want to know more about this, let me know and I can make a video on it. So I hope these 5 steps have been useful. If you've gotten this far into the video, I want you to tell me what your first step is going to be. How are you going to become wealthy? And in fact, I actually want to know about your mindset. Do you think money is a good thing? Do you think it's evil? What about wealth? What are your thoughts on it? Please let me know. I want to have a discussion with you. And also, please support me if you can. Please press like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on. This is free and such an easy thing for you to do, but it makes such a difference to my channel. So I thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.